Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Eric Fields, the psychologist turned weight loss coach. I hope everyone is having a happy new year. I haven't posted in a while, and I really wanted to address the results of my survey. So I sent out a survey several weeks ago asking people to identify which pattern of overeating they really struggle with. And essentially, there are three main patterns. So there is a grazer who picks and eats a little bit throughout the day, often picks while they're cooking, and this picking adds up over time. So the duration of this picking can really accumulate to a lot of extra calories, even though each time the person picks, it may only be 100 calories or so. The second style of overeating is what I call a supersizer. And a supersizer may only eat the typical 3 meals a day, but they are very big meals. A lot of times, supersizers will eat a rather small breakfast, and sometimes they don't even eat breakfast, but then they eat a very large lunch and a really big dinner. And those two meals really can pack on the extra weight. And the third type is what I call a binger. A binger is somebody that typically has really strong food urges or cravings in the late afternoon, let's say around 3 or 4 o'clock, and after dinner in the evening around 8 to 10 o'clock at night. And the difference between them and a supersizer is they've already eaten their 3 meals for the day, and this is an additional meal. But what really makes them different from the supersizer is that the binge meal is almost always really unhealthy food or very fatty food with a lot of calories, like potato chips and nuts and donuts and ice cream and pizza and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's usually snack food eaten excessively. I even met a binger where cheese was the main one. So the results of the survey unanimously were that my followers primarily struggle with binge eating. And so that's what I want to address today in this video episode. I definitely struggled with this. This was one of my main issues when I was trying to lose weight. And so let me tell you some strategies that are going to be really helpful for you and the mindset that you need to get in. First off, you know that you have this vulnerability, and you know when you have this vulnerability, either the late afternoon or in the evening. So knowing that information is already really empowering. So all you really have to do then is set up your lifestyle in a way that greatly reduces this vulnerability. So listen, let's say late afternoon heavy snacking is the issue. What that simply means is there is too much time between your lunch and dinner. And so that by time 3 or 4 o'clock rolls around, if you ate lunch at 12 o'clock, you're going to start to get hungry. But maybe you work till 5, you don't get home till about 6, and by the time you eat dinner, it's 7 o'clock. So you now have 7 hours from lunch to dinner. That period of time, you are slowly getting hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. And once you get to a certain level where you are so hungry, all rational thinking goes out the window, and that really sets the stage for impulsive, compulsive overeating and binging, ravenous eating, to the point where you're not even thinking about what food you're eating. You're just grabbing things because you're starving. What you need to do in this situation is simple. You need to have a meal in between, and it doesn't have to be anything extensive. For me, I usually work out during the late afternoon, which is another strategy you can do, because if you're occupying yourself with a really healthy activity, the best thing to do is, if we're struggling with a certain behavior, do behavior that's incompatible with it, right? So if you're struggling with binge eating in the late afternoon, that's the time to work out, because you're not going to be binge eating while you're at the gym. And so I kind of kill two birds with one stone. Not only do I schedule my exercise at that time, and I know not all of you can do that, but what you absolutely can do is have a ready-made snack. For me, it's a protein shake. It is so simple. It's about 200 calories, and I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'3". I'm a big guy. And that holds me over no problem till dinner. It's very filling and it's super healthy. But you don't have to take my idea. And sometimes people don't like liquid meals. So then pack something that's simple, like a granola bar or fruit or anything that is going to be on the healthy side, but is going to hold you over. Don't wait until your hunger is completely out of control. You have to give yourself a fighting chance. Too often we have these great intentions, but we can act very foolishly, because we'll say like, nope, that's it. I'm going to do it today. I did really well in the morning. I ate a healthy breakfast. I ate a healthy lunch. I'm going to continue this trend. You may wake up in the morning, have all your meals planned out for the day and have the best intentions, but blow it because you haven't taken into account this vulnerable period of the day. You haven't done anything to address it. And so all you're relying on is just white knuckling willpower. Like, you're just gonna have to press through today. Those urges and cravings, you're just gonna have to fight them. And listen, I'm a big proponent of fighting urges and cravings, but you have to give yourself a fighting chance. Like, don't let them build up to such a degree where, even the strongest willed person is going to fail in that situation. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to set yourself up for failure. I'm all about mindset, but I'm also about, creating a lifestyle or environment that really stands the greatest chance of us being successful in our goals, weight loss goals in particular. So that is for the people that binge in the late afternoon. Now, for you bingers at night, I'm going to tell you what the big problem is. The big problem is, in general, you're not eating enough during the day, but most importantly, you're not eating enough at dinner. So here's how it goes and how it went for me for so long, right? I came up with this food plan and I planned my meals, and I would have my breakfast and my lunch, and dinner I would always make a rather small meal, knowing that as the hours go on during the day, our metabolism slows and slows and slows. And so from a scientific standpoint, it was a very smart meal. I had a bigger breakfast, more starchy carbohydrates for energy. Lunch would be a little bit more on the moderate side. And then dinner would be a smaller meal. And it would usually be like a salad, vegetables, and a protein, and a small meal in terms of the number of calories. So no starchy carbohydrates and a low calorie meal. Now, according to science, this was well designed, right? Who cares about science if you can't stick with the plan, though? This is something that I emphasize over and over again. You may have the best intentions, come up with the best meal plan, the best diet, the best weight loss program ever made. But if you can't stick with it, it doesn't matter. So if you're not eating enough at dinner, right? And you are ravenous afterwards, several hours later before you fall asleep, it's going to lead to a binge episode 9 out of 10 times. And here's the irony of the situation. We're so fearful of eating too much at dinner because we're on our weight loss plan, right? And that fear actually causes us to sabotage ourselves because we don't eat enough at dinner. We get super, super hungry. And then the calories that we eat late at night are like worth 3 or 4 dinners. You know what I'm saying? Like they're 3 to 4 times more calories than the dinner we ate. Does that make any sense? We're so against to adding like 200 to 300 more calories at dinner, or doubling the amount of calories at dinner if we're eating so sparsely. We're so fearful of that, but then it leads to a binge episode and we eat like 4 times the calories that we ate for dinner. And the food is almost always unhealthy food. For me, I was not having any starchy carbs at dinner, no potatoes, no rice, no pasta, nope, nope, nope. And I was eating too small of a meal. And then late night, I'm sitting there wolfing down potato chips, pretzels, tortilla chips, cookies, donuts. It makes no sense. So set yourself up for success. If you're finding that you are having strong food cravings at night and you're feeling really, really hungry, and it's like this insatiable kind of hunger, you didn't eat enough for dinner. Now, these days, I still don't have starchy carbs for dinner, but I eat a much bigger meal, and that works for me. If you increase the calories, and let's say you're like me and you're trying to cut down on starchy carbs at night and you're still feeling ravenous, then put the carbs back in. It's not worth it. And you are going to get to your weight loss goals much faster if you eat some freaking mashed potatoes and rice at night, or pasta or whatever, or even a little bread, than if you don't and really restrict yourself in the evening and wind up binging 2 to 3,000 calories, right? And the funny thing is, we know this. We have so much data to suggest that what we're doing is not working. You know, the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. But that's how we operate. Every day we get back up and we say, nope, this day I'm going to resist those urges and cravings. And it happens again. And then the next day it happens again. And the next day it happens again. When meanwhile, the data is right in front of us. The solution is right there. This is Dr. Eric Fields. I hope this was a helpful episode for all of you. If binge eating is your albatross, if that's the enemy, then really start implementing these strategies that I discussed today. This is Dr. Eric Fields. I'll have more to say about this at another time.